Hollyoaks in the city. And what about your type?
I like dark.
Dark.
Yeah. Dark
What's your type?
I don't know
Blue
what
eyes.
type. My mum's the perfect woman, aren't you, mum?
He's just looking for extra Christmas
He's
presents.
mentioned his mother so many times now.
That's the saying, is it? Though, like you grow up to marry your own mother, but I'm not getting married.
No thanks.
Don't want to marry me, mum.
Oh yeah, we've got the first jealous one. I normally love your program, Peter, but I'm getting fed up with you constantly pushing the X Factor.
Oh, we are.
I know it is popular with many, but there are just so many things you can do for cheap television. Sign David. Oh, David.
Hang on,
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
I bet he's in his bedroom now with his brush in his hand, looking in front of the mirror thinking, I can do what they do.
Well, I apologise.
Tell us about the audition. At the X Factor! Tell us about the audition. How many places did you go?
We went to Old Trafford, and then we went to Lowry Hotel.
But take that with her.
And whose idea was it to go?
Jay's.
Jay's.
Yeah.
He said, let's go.
Yeah, well, he was
For
going
anyone
as a
that
solo
doesn't know,
act.
Jay's the little blonde one.
Yeah.
He was going as a solo act and just said, listen, lads, so we just go for this. Let's just try and, like, get through the first... Well, we didn't even think we'd get through the first audition, and it was Jay.
I think, yeah, it was like, but it was Jay that was being dead negative as well.
Yeah.
Like, the first round, we thought, oh, we're not even going to make it through the first round, and we did. Second round, we thought, oh, we're going home. Third round,
But
we thought,
tell us
oh,
about
we're
the
going
queue,
home.
and let's not rush this, because it's interesting. So, the first round, how long did you queue for?
Oh, we got in line at 8 o'clock in the morning, and we got seen at 5:05.
5:05.
Yeah. And you have your
And that wasn't even the
outside.
judges.
Yeah,
That was
that's
just-
not the
that's
judges.
just the producers.
The first audition you go for is the producers. You have to see the producers. We've seen them in Old Trafford. But then the day after, we got sent to the Lowry Hotel.
Yeah.
And that was when we actually seen Simon, Sheldon and Louis.
So, who were you auditioning in front of? Just a panel of people, the first.
It's two
producers, and then when you get to see the actual judges, Simon and that, it's actually not just them in the room. It's like the producers, cameras.
There's about 50 people
50
to the
people
side.
to the side, yeah. So your nerves have gone, but.
Because, you know, we get a lot of people coming on slagging the X Factor. I know you don't like the X Factor, or you don't like the...
I do like
No,
the X
what it's
Factor.
about, what it's about.
Oh no, I don't like the beginning.
Yeah.
But that's one of the biggest, that's to get to the biggest ratings, apart from the last two, the final, the semi-final. But we get a lot of people coming on saying, tell everyone not to go because this happens. Everyone knows what happens.
Yeah.
You know, it annoys me. What is it like in the crowd? Are they just filming all the time?
When you're in the...
Wait, when you're waiting?
Yeah, well, like, we got spotted because this is when Anthony had this big fin in his ear, and, like, obviously everyone was getting, like, noticing Anthony, and then by that time there was cameras coming up saying, oh, who are you, what are you planning on singing, and then we ended up singing in the line, didn't we, about 3 times for 3 different sets of cameras, and then the Nokia team came up to us and made us sing on a camera phone, and then by that time we got about 12 interviews on the first day. People coming up saying, are you Eton Road? And we were going, yeah. Like, wondering how they knew us.
So it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Scary, the first audition, man.
Yeah. And were there people bitter in the queue?
No, you get your stares from the other competition, because it is a competition, so you get other people staring at you like, well, they don't look good, so they obviously don't sound good, or they don't sound good, or whatever, so...
But it's funny, I think the funniest part is when you see people that look the part, and act the part, and then come to sing, and they're just not as good as they think they are.
Yeah, but you see, I related to you, because, once again, when you were children, babies, I was in New Faces, and I was knocked out of the final by Lenny Henry. So if you're going to get knocked out by somebody good, you might as well, you know. But I was told I was going to get through, and I was standing there, and it was live, and it was live, as the X Factor was, and there was 14 million people watching, and I just had this big smile on my face, because I said, you've done it, and I hadn't. I just made it to the toilet. I just made it to the toilet. It was horrible. It was horrible, you know, you can't imagine, but it was just an incredible experience. But we had a TV series after that, 6 of us, and it was cancelled. Christmas Eve. Paid for, but cancelled. Politics.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like you said, you know, that's what makes me laugh, you see. You've been in this business a long time, and you're seeing what it's like. They've got this to come.
Yeah.
What we don't understand, and Joe Public don't understand, is they think it's all sweetness and light, and it ain't.
No, it's
It's
not.
like in our second, well, when we went for our second audition, we never actually made it. We never nearly. What is it? What I'm trying to say?
I don't know
We
what
never
it's
actually never went for the audition because me and James were actually in a show, and we had to be back for the show, and we never actually nearly got to do
And
the
then
second audition.
after trying to walk away, me clinging onto their ankle.
Yeah.
He's like, you're staying for the
Yeah,
audition.
because it was. I said to him, I said, you can either go and do your show and do a good show, or you can stay and see what happens with X Factor. And I said, and what's bigger in the end? They both decided to stay.
What was the show?
It was your phone.
Oh, it was for Lee Kelly. Lee Kelly. Lee Kelly Productions. Lee knows him.
Yes, Lee Kelly.
We got dropped. Well, never got dropped. James got nearly kicked out.
How, Daniel and David, how are your friends with you now? Are they all right with you? Or
It's
are
good,
some of
So
them...
what, I've always chose my friends
Wisely.
I've always,
Good.
I know who my friends are, and I know that they've stuck by me through doing theatrical and all that stuff. So they've been very supportive still. And
People that you've known for years will always treat you the same no matter like what you do. But you find out people that didn't want to know you 3 years
called you in school.
a phone and you know just coming out of the woodwork saying, "Oh, do you remember when this started doing this?" And you go, "No." So
Which is the way to do. I always remember, great lesson I learned. Terry Sylvester was in a group called the Escorts. Dad's old member. Great guy, and he was picked to be one of the Hollies. And the Hollies were huge, and they picked a new Holly. And I was out with him. Well, there was a few of us. We were out that night before he was picked. Nobody knew. The next night, if he bought a drink, it was big time. If he didn't buy a drink, he was big time.
Exactly.
All of a sudden, after being on the front page, which he was, the front page of every national newspaper, a new Holly, because it was huge.
Yeah.
His life changed. But his mates were, well, his real mates were fantastic. But as you say, you know, you get the phone calls. Hi, how are you? We played football when we were 3. You must remember me. It's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you get that when you were in Brookside?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it's kind of weird because most of my family who like live near to me are my biggest friends. You get what I mean? And my closest friends. So it's like they are the biggest support for me. It's like my cousins and my brothers and whatever. So they're kind of protected of me and who I let into my circle. And to be honest, most of my friends tend to be people in the entertainment industry only because they just know what I'm going through and they know what it's like. And they know that it's not as glamorous as people think it is. Because people want to be your friend because they think you go to all these parties or you do this, that and the other. But they know it's not, you know, so it's kind of... they're on the same level, I guess. It's just that, not that you're on a different level, but...
No, but also there is jealousy in the business. Singers and actors can get very jealous of each other, you know. I mean, marriages are quite difficult on that.
But I mean, people like, you know, Phil who I worked with and Suzanne and stuff like that, they've been my closest friend. Like, Suzanne Collins, like, she was such a big support, you know, because I mean, after I did Brookside, there was 2.5 years where I was doing the music or I was in bands and stuff and it didn't work, but I basically wasn't working, do you know what I mean? And then they're the people that stuck by me and they were still there. And there was other people who I'd worked with who I never heard anything from, but like Phil, Suzanne, Stico, Lewis Emmerich, people like that who I work with, they're always there and they're always seeing how I am and, you know, giving me advice and support and stuff, and that's how you know your real friends are.
Yeah. Are you all mates? Eton Road, all mates?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Do you have lives apart, or are you all mates?
we're like on X Factor. We said we're like brothers now. We did become brothers because we were with each other that much. But like obviously we've all got mates away from the 4 of us. Like the first night we was back. We all went off and done our own thing. You know, because we've been together that long. We got sick of that. I got sick of it.